A revolution is not an apple which falls at its own when it becomes ripe, but you have to make it fall with your own efforts. Hello everyone, I am Harpreet Singh and today I am going to tell you about Russian Revolution. So let's talk about the sequence of events which happened during Russian Revolution. So Russian Revolution can be divided into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 started on 22nd February 1917. So this is also known as February Revolution. So here you can see two dates. So one is according to Julian calendar and second one is according to Gregorian calendar. So in 1917, the calendar which was followed by Russia, it was Julian calendar, means old calendar. And now the new calendar is followed by Russia, which is known as Gregorian calendar. So according to the old calendar, this event started in February, and according to the new one, it started in March. And then second phase started on 25th October 1917, which is also known as October Revolution. But according to the new calendar, this event started on 7 November 1917. Russia was ruled over by a royal family, and the name of this family is Romanov. So it is Romanov dynasty, and their rule started in Russia in 1613. And they were very powerful rulers of Russia. And the king of this dynasty is known as Tsar. Means as we call the kings as kings or emperors, but in Russia they are known as Tsar. And Tsar Nicholas II, he was the Tsar or an emperor when this revolution started. So this revolution started because this family committed many atrocities on the common man. So that's why the people stood against this dynasty, and this dynasty was uprooted from Russia. This is the photograph of Tsar Nicholas II, who was an emperor of Russia during this revolution. This revolution is incomplete without discussing the role of Lenin. So Lenin played an important role in this revolution to make this revolution a successful one. So Lenin made his own party, which was known as Russian Social Democratic Workers Party, and in short we can say RSDWP. And this party was formed by Lenin in 1903. And next we see that there was a formal split in this party in 1912, and it was divided into two parties. One was known as Bolsheviks, and they were also known as leftists, and the second one were Mensheviks. They were the rightists. Means the Bolsheviks, they wanted to bring change by picking up arms against the monarchy. But on the other side, the Mensheviks were moderate, and they wanted to bring change without having any kind of anarchy. So this is the photograph of Vladimir Lenin, who was a famous leader of Russian Revolution. And the second photograph is of Karl Marx. And Karl Marx was the mentor of Lenin. Means Lenin was inspired a lot by Karl Marx. And even the idea of communism, which was the idea of Karl Marx, it was adopted by Lenin. And finally, Lenin became successful in bringing communism in Russia. Now we will talk about different causes behind Russian Revolution, which started in 1917. So the first and major cause is Russian Revolution, which started on 22 January 1905. So this was just a background, and it set a stage for a bigger revolution of 1917. So this revolution started in St. Petersburg, and in olden times it was known as Petrograd, but in 1991 its name was changed to St. Petersburg. So in this map you can see the city of St. Petersburg in Russia. So this revolution was started by the workers of the factories. As we know that in whole Europe, industrial revolution started, but Russia was still much behind than other European countries. The workers were underpaid and their living conditions were really very bad. So that's why they protested against the monarchy. And second cause behind this revolution was the defeat of Russia in a war with Japan. So as both the countries were ruled by monarchies, so a bigger country like Russia was defeated by a much smaller country, Japan, at that time. So that's why there was lot of anger in the people against the monarchy of Russia. So this revolution started on 22 January 1905 and the day was Sunday. So that's why this is also known as Bloody Sunday. And when all these workers of the factories they gathered in front of the palace of the king, then these unarmed people they were attacked by the imperial guards. They were fired upon by the imperial guards, and in this firing about 243 workers were killed and 800 were injured. So there was lot of anger against the monarchy of Russia at that time, because lot of innocent people were killed by his guards. So this revolution became successful because now the king of Russia was forced to create a parliament which was known as Duma in Russia. So this was the outcome of this revolution, that a parliament system was started in Russia. In this map you can see the extent of Russian Empire. So the area which is in green color, it is all Russian Empire, and you can see that how big this empire was. Next photograph is of Winter Palace, which was the official residence of Tsar and his family. Means the Romanov dynasty lived in this palace, and this palace was situated in St. Petersburg, which was also known as Petrograd in olden times. And now this is the photograph of Duma, which is also known as the Russian parliament. And Duma was created after 1905 revolution of Russia, because people were fed up of monarchy, so they wanted to bring democracy in their country. So in order to bring democracy, the first step was to bring Duma in their country. Second major cause behind Russian revolution was the participation of Russia in World War I. So although Russia participated in this war, but even then it was continuously losing in this war. So people were up against the monarchy. So in this war there were two groups who were fighting with each other. One group was of Central Powers, and in this group there were countries like Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria and Ottoman Empire, means Turkey, which was under Ottoman Empire at that time. And second group was of Allies. In this group there were countries like Serbia, Russia, France, Italy, Japan and USA. So even in this map you can see these two powers, Central Powers and Allies powers. So people were against the monarchy because they were suffering a lot. The condition of the people was really very bad at that time. So they protested against the monarchy, that why are you participating in this war? So this became a major cause behind Russian Revolution. Third cause behind this revolution was inflation and higher taxes. As we know that Russia participated in World War I, so that's why there was lot of expenditure during World War I. And in order to fill the coffers of the state, the monarchy imposed higher taxes upon the common people. So that's why the common men revolted against the monarchy. Fourth cause is people like clergy. nobility and aristocrats. These people enjoyed special privileges which were not given to the common people. So this also became a major cause behind this revolution. Fifth cause is wife of King Nicholas II, whose name was Tsarina Alexandra. She appointed a controversial advisor whose name was Rasputin. And Rasputin had expelled many officers from nobility and aristocrats without any cause. So that's why clergy, nobility and aristocrats, they were against Rasputin, and they got him murdered in 1916. Sixth cause is toothless Duma. So as we know that after the revolution of 1905, a Duma means Russian parliament was created, but it enjoyed no power at all. All the power rested with the monarchy, or means King Nicholas II. He had all the powers, but Duma was just a toothless parliament which had no power at all to curtail the powers of the monarchy. So this also became a cause behind this revolution. Seventh cause is that there were very less industries in Russia. As we already talked about industrial revolution, that in Europe industrial revolution came, but this revolution had still not started in Russia. So that's why the people were against the monarchy. And the eighth cause is bad condition of the workers. So the workers who were working in the factories, their condition was really very bad. So that's why the people were against the monarchy. Now we will see that how the events unfolded during Russian Revolution. So we already discussed that this revolution happened in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So in this we are going to discuss about phase 1, which started in February 1917. So about 50,000 workers in St. Petersburg city, which is also known as Petrograd, they began strikes in this city because the condition of factory workers was really bad. They were underpaid and the working hours were much more. And especially St. Petersburg is the city of Russia which had industries at that time, but the other cities of Russia had very less industries. Means it was the only industrial city of Russia during 1917. So these workers, they came on streets of St. Petersburg and they protested against the monarchy. So this was the start of Russian Revolution. So when the workers began their strikes, then all the industries in Russia, they were closed and there was no output from the industries. So that's why Tsar Nicholas II, he ordered his troops on 11 March 1917 to control this unruly mob. But now this unruly mob can't be controlled by his army men because the army was much lesser in number. And these rioters, they were also joined by the common people and the peasants of this country. So that's why their number was much more, and this police and the army of royal family, it was unable to control these rioters. So finally all the control was in the hands of these rioters, and then army chief and Duma authorities, they suggested the king, means Tsar Nicholas II, to abdicate his throne, otherwise he will be murdered by this unruly mob. So finally this suggestion was accepted by him on 15 March 1917, and then Tsar Nicholas II abdicated his throne, and then he appointed his brother Michael in place of him. But even Michael also declined this offer because he feared for his life. He thought that he might be murdered by the mob. So on the very next day, means on 16 March 1917, then a provisional government was announced under the prime ministership of Alexander Kerensky. So he was the leader of Menshevik party, and he became the first prime minister of Russia. So it means the monarchy was abolished, and now he wanted to bring democracy in his country. So this is the picture of Alexander Kerensky, who became the first prime minister of Russia after this revolution. Now this provisional government, which was made under Alexander Kerensky, it was opposed by Petrograd Soviet. It was a workers' union, which was also known as Workers' Council, and it was part of Bolshevik party, means their main leader was Lenin. So now this is the entry of Lenin here, and from here he instigated his workers to protest against this provisional government. And next we see that Russia was continuing to participate in World War I, although the people protested against the government, and even they protested against the new government, the provisional government, that they should not participate in World War I. But the leaders of this party, Menshevik party, they keep on supporting the other countries in World War I. So here we see that this is the end of phase 1. So after the successful end of phase 1, then next phase 2 started on 25 October 1917. So this date is according to Julian calendar, means old calendar, but according to the new Gregorian calendar, this phase started in November month. So we see that October Revolution, it started under the leadership of Trotsky, and he was a famous leader of Bolshevik party. But Lenin was indirectly leading this movement, and he was not coming into the picture because he already came from an exile in Switzerland. He was sent to Switzerland on exile for a longer time, and when he came back, now he feared for his arrest, so he was not directly leading it, but he was the indirect leader of all these events. So here you can see the picture of Trotsky, who was the famous leader who was leading this October Revolution, but actually this revolution was led by Lenin. We see that mostly lower class and middle class, they were the supporters of Lenin's party, means Bolshevik party, and these people wanted that Russia should not participate in World War I, as it was reeling under a huge debt and huge poverty at that time. And Lenin assured them that when his party will come in power, then Russia will not participate anymore in World War I. Next we see that the people who were liberals and monarchists, means those who were in favor of monarchy, they formed their army, which was known as White Army. And on the other side, those who were supporters of Lenin, they made their army, which was known as Red Army. And then we see that mostly the control came in the hands of Red Army, means Lenin. So all the buildings, government buildings, and all the important institutions of Russia at that time, they were under control of Lenin. So Lenin became the next ruler after Alexander. So here it means that the provisional government, which was made under Alexander Kerensky, who was a prime minister, that was abolished, and now Lenin became the new ruler of Russia. Next we see that when phase 2 ended, then Lenin became the new ruler, but he remained the ruler for just a few months, because in the very next year, means in 1918, then again Russian civil war started, and which continued from 1918 to 1923. So this was a dark period in the history of Russia, because in this period lot of people were killed. There was lot of bloodshed during these 5 years. So here we see that there was a fight between Red Army and White Army. as we see that Lenin was the leader of Red Army and White Army was led by the liberals. So there was a civil war between these two parties. And we see that the whites, means White Army, they got support from UK, France, USA and Japan. But on the other side, we see that Red Army was not supported by any other country. They got just the internal support. But even then, they were much more powerful than the White Army. Next, we see that there was a fight going on between these two parties. These two means armies, White Army and Red Army. Then we see that Red Army was much more powerful. So that's why all the control came in the hands of Bolsheviks, as they were the leaders of the Red Army. So that's why when the control came in the hands of Lenin, then the first work which was done by him was that he ordered the execution of Tsar Nicholas II and his family members. So he was executed on 16 July 1918. So this is the photograph of Tsar Nicholas II with his family. So he was murdered by the Bolsheviks.
So during this Russian Civil War, hammer and sickle symbol, it became a very famous symbol. So in this picture you can see the hammer and a sickle, which is the official symbol of communist parties. And this symbol was officially adopted by USSR in 1924. So USSR means Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, which was formed in 1924, which was a conglomeration of nations. Here in this map you can see that the nations in different colors, they are part of USSR. So Russia became a very big country at that time when all these nations became a part of USSR. Russian Civil War ended in 1923 with the clear victory of Lenin. So in this way, Lenin became the new ruler of Russia in 1923. But unfortunately, he got just a few months to rule because in 1924 he died. And after his death, then a new ruler came. His name was Stalin. So this is the picture of Stalin. And he became a very famous and powerful ruler of Russia at that time. He was a well-known dictator who also won in Second World War. So he became the next ruler of Communist Party. Now we will discuss about the aftermath of this revolution. So the first one is that communist revolution started in many other countries like China, Cuba and Vietnam. So Chinese revolution started in 1946 under the leadership of Mao Zedong. And in Cuba it started in 1953 under the leadership of Fidel Castro. And same kind of revolution also started in Vietnam in 1945 under the leadership of Ho Chi Minh. So we see that many other countries, they also got inspired from Russia. So we see that communism started not only in Russia but in many other countries like China and Vietnam. So these countries started adopting communism. And next we see that all the private property was abolished. So now the private property was in the hands of government. Even the land and all the natural resources, they were under the control of government. And next we see that there was a great divide between rich and poor. So rich was becoming richer day by day, but poor was still suffering a lot. As he wanted to bring change in his life, but still he can't see such kind of changes in his life. So this was all about Russian Revolution. And if you have liked this video, please leave your positive comments and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.